and Bali are some of the most popular cities for travelers at the moment. I've been to both and I want to do a comparison because every time I see people asking about where should I travel next, there is always people suggesting Tokyo and Bali, and these are two very, very different cities. I'm going to be comparing them according to 5 categories. The first one is cost. Can people just stop saying Japan is cheap? It really isn't, especially in terms of accommodation. Accommodation in Tokyo is honestly one of the most expensive accommodation I've ever seen in my entire life. You're gonna be selling your kidney to stay in a shoebox. The only cheap accommodation you can find in Tokyo is hostels, but if you're looking for your private room or you're looking for like a hotel room, and if you're even thinking of staying on like a high rise and have the view of Tokyo, yeah, forget it. Too expensive. And transport. Now, transport is cheap in terms of like if you use the trains. But if you ever have an emergency where you have to use the taxi, yeah, just file for bankruptcy because you can use like a minimum of $100 for maybe like 30 minutes. It's that expensive. I honestly don't know why. I really want to look into this more, but transport in Japan, yeah, just stick to the trains or else, yeah, don't say I didn't warn you. The only cheap thing that I think in Tokyo is food. Food is definitely very affordable. You can even just, live on onigiris if you're on a budget. Now, coming back to Bali, I would say Bali is one of the most affordable places ever in terms of when you compare to the value that you get. Like a $100 villa in Bali is like maybe $500 somewhere else. And their service is good. It's not like you're paying cheap and you get like cheap accommodations. No, it's gonna be really, really good quality. And transport is even cheaper. Like, getting around will mostly be on a bike, like using Grab app, which is like a ride-hailing app like Uber. Food also very affordable. Events also very affordable. But another thing that I like in Bali is there's something for every budget. You're gonna get super cheap accommodations, but you're also gonna get super expensive accommodation depending on if you want to go for like super luxurious or you wanna just be modest. But any amount of money you pay, you will definitely be getting the value, that's for sure. Second category is friendliness of the people. Starting with Tokyo, I am actually gonna be with the unpopular opinion because I see a lot of people saying that the Japanese people are not very friendly, they're pretty distant, but for me, that was completely different. They were really friendly. What happens is that most of them are not fluent in English, so it's not like they don't want to talk to you or they don't want to interact with you. It's just like they can't speak your language or they're just like not confident enough in their speaking skills, because sometimes people will talk to me, they don't speak English, but they will at least gesture or just say like hi or say basic words like kawaii or just, maybe I will look lost and they will just like show me with gestures like go here, go there. Like even people who didn't speak English still made an effort to somehow interact with me. And the people who were fluent in English were also very nice, very kind. I once went to Tokyo Disneyland. I was numb. I didn't carry an umbrella. It was scorching hot and I was alone. There was a family of Japanese people behind me and they didn't speak English, but they said hi and I said hi back, and then they gave me an umbrella. They gave me a piece of clothing to sit on, and like they were just kind. Like they didn't even have to speak my language, but I could see that they meant well for me. And then back to Bali now. Bali, 100 times more kind than in Tokyo. People in Bali are just like the kindest people I've ever met. I honestly, up to this day, I think no one beats the Balinese people for how kind and just nice and just humble they are. They really touched my heart and they made me want to even be a better person myself because, whoa, how are these people this kind? Third category, transport systems. Now, I've already touched a bit on this about Tokyo, but I'm going to start first with accessibility. I think Tokyo is very, very accessible and it's very efficient. Like, if the train is scheduled for like 11 a.m., it's going to be there on the dot. No being late. You're always going to have trains going and coming back to where you're going. I mean, I think after midnight, they stop operating. I'm not very sure on this, but what I'm saying is that it's very easy to get around. But my disadvantages for transport system in Tokyo is, first, it can be very hard to navigate if you're not from Tokyo. Like, personally, in my country, we don't have trains. I guess this wouldn't be an issue for people from like New York, London, Singapore, because they do have trains. But if this is your first time, it can be quite challenging at first. But another problem that I have with Tokyo transport is you just have to take trains. If you do not take trains and opt for like taxis for whatever reason, yeah, goodbye. Just forget your budget. It's just so expensive, and I already spoke on this, so I don't necessarily have to elaborate more on that. Coming back to Bali, yeah, there's no issue with cost. Like, transport, super, super cheap, but there is a catch. There is crazy traffic if you take the car. You should mostly just take the motorbikes, because yeah, the cars, the traffic can be very crazy. So if you're someone who is afraid of bikes for whatever reason, or you're not comfortable, then that could be a challenge for you. But in general, both cars and motorbikes on Grab are very, very affordable. It is accessible because, yeah, you can still call a Grab, but there is no like something as efficient as like a train system or like public transport. There is no public transport at all. So that could be a disadvantage, but I don't really see it as a disadvantage because the Grabs there seem to work pretty well. The fourth category is food. Now, in Japan, obviously there's so much food variety and the food is good, but I would say, just personally for me, I do prefer Indonesian food than Japanese food. I think Japanese has better snacks, like things to snack on. But when it comes to meals, I'm like, yeah, it's just noodles. Yeah, it's just rice. Like, I don't know. Like, I really wasn't mind blown like that. Now, this is probably a very unpopular opinion considering how popular Japanese cuisine is. But yeah, I think in general, if I am being objective, it is good cuisine. But if I am talking from like what I prefer, comparing these two, then I would go with Bali. Talking about Bali, I think Indonesian cuisine is very underrated. I personally think the best Asian food is Indonesian food. Like, you just have to try it to get it. The flavors are balanced, the spices are balanced, everything is flavorful and very like warm, heavy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, I guess this is what I was telling you. Like, I prefer Japanese snacks, but Indonesian whole meals. And the last but not least is activities. Now, the kind of activities that you will do in Tokyo are more like city sightseeing, if that makes sense. Like, it's gonna be mostly like buildings or like, it's not anything specific. For instance, if you look at most Tokyo itineraries, it's things like going to Shibuya, going to Shinjuku, going to Akihabara, it's more of like you go to a certain part of the city and to shop or to eat or to just wander around. It's not anything like adrenaline rush, or it's not like crazy views. It's just like the charm of Tokyo is just like the city itself, I would say. As opposed to Bali, Bali is more variety for things to do there, because if you are adventurous, you can do, go explore like waterfalls and hiking. And if you're a surfer or if you're a beach body, then you can just go to the beach and chill there and do nothing. And if you are into mindfulness and yoga, you can go to like Ubud. There is just like everything for every person. It's not like you just stroll around the city and that's it. And if you're like a party person, there's also Canggu for like beach clubs. As opposed to Tokyo, I think Tokyo, like, it's more of like a city sightseeing where you're just going to different locations in the city, but you're not necessarily doing activities. It's not like hiking or waterfalls or what. It's just like, going to the club, going shopping, going to the temple, something like that. I'm Susan. I make videos on travel, things like story times, tips, and some insight into working online while traveling. If that's your vibe, subscribe, like, share, and see you soon.